Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. This is episode 141. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur who is trying to get over that hump and make things happen. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to aspire higher and accomplish that dream. I produce this content out of pure passion. I don't ask for any money. All I ask for is a couple things. Number one, if you find anything beneficial in this podcast, pass it on to somebody else who may benefit from it as well. And number two, please leave a review. Let me know what you love about the content. Let me know what you would like to hear in the content. You notice that whenever you're doing something great, when you're building a business, you made the decision to become an entrepreneur and pursue your entrepreneurial endeavors, or you made the decision to, go after that career that you always wanted to go after. You notice that whenever you do those things, people that you used to be connected with in the past, whether it be people you grew up with, people from high school, from college, etc., they're always going to claim, not all of them, but some of them are always going to claim that you've changed, right? You think you're better than other people. You think you're bougie now, things like that. And I get accused of that from time to time. And, I used to wonder, how do I get accused of that when, the truth of the matter is I never changed. I'm the same Twiz that I was in the 90s, that I was in high school, that I was in college, that I am now. I'm the same person. Ultimately, my personality is the same. I haven't changed. I'm still that fun-loving social person. But yet I was still accused of being different, right? And that's what a lot of us go through when we're trying to aspire higher. We're going to be accused of being different. And the reason they accuse us of that, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that they criticize us is because the reality is they represent what we used to be. Okay, so if you're ultimately in the same spot that you was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you wasted a lot of time in your life. Right. So you can be the same person. Yes. But if you're in the same spot, if you didn't grow mentally, if you didn't grow spiritually, if you didn't look at the world through a different lens, you're in the same spot. They represent what we used to be. All right. We used to be procrastinators. We used to be people who make excuses. We used to be people who didn't have goals, who didn't have ambition, who didn't see the big picture. We used to be all of those things and more, but that's what they still are today. And they can't handle the fact that you're building a business. They can't handle the fact that your brand is starting to gain traction. They can't handle the fact that you're finally starting to move up the ranks in your career. They can't handle that because they're still stuck in the same spot. They're still stuck in the mud. And the reality is we're all stuck in the mud at some point in time. We all start in the mud. Because again, that's what we used to be. We used to be in that position. But see, we had vision. We had goals. We had that drive to get out of that mud. We didn't want to stay there. We always knew it was something more to life than the block, than the hood, than where we come from. It was always more to life than living paycheck to paycheck. It was always more to life than overdraft fees, than being late on your bills. It's more to life than that. It's more to life than partying for the weekend, living for the weekend. We realize that as dream chasers. They don't realize that. Unfortunately, some of them would never realize it. Some may come to terms and finally wake up and realize it, and that's okay because everybody's journey is different. But the purpose of today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't want you to think that you're doing something wrong, that you need to lower your standards because people claim that you're different, because people claim that you're something else, because people claim that you're bougie or you're better than them. You never said those words. You don't act like that. That's their guilt and their jealousy speaking for them. One of the biggest ways to keep ourselves humble, the bigger we get. So the more money you accumulate, when you become a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire, when these things come to fruition, everything that you've imagined in your head, one of the biggest ways to remain humble is to remember what we used to be. So remember all of those broke, lonely nights, all of those tears, all of that frustration. Remember all of the bruises and all of the hits you had to take to get where you are right now. Never forget that. always remember that it was never steak and lobster. Sometimes you had to eat ramen noodles. And you might be eating ramen noodles right now. But my point is, we all had to go through hardship to get to the success that we are today in 2018. And we're going to go through more hardship to get to our overall ultimate goal in the future. Never disregard your hardship. Never disregard your struggle. Be proud of it. Be proud of where you come from. Be proud of what you went through, because that's what molded you into what you are today. Yes, you can be the same person. You can have the same personality, but you have to view the world differently. You're going to view the world differently once you go through certain things. So never forget those struggles. That's how you're going to keep yourself humble and keep yourself grounded, by remembering what you used to be. That's how we fight the virus of becoming bougie, becoming stuck up, keeping our nose up, thinking we're better than somebody, thinking we're too valuable to get our hands dirty, to go down and get gritty and dirty and mop the floors, clean the windows. I don't care if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, you still got to do those things. You still got to do the things that kept you humble. You still got to cut the grass from time to time. You still got to wash the dishes from time to time. You still got to go out there on the front line with your employees. Even though you're the CEO, you still got to go out there and do grunt work. That's how we keep ourselves humble, by remembering what we used to be. Remembering all those times that we interviewed for jobs and got fired or got denied for somebody that was less than qualified than we were. Never forget what you used to be on this journey. And don't worry about the people that represent what you used to be, because they're irrelevant. Learn to ignore them. Learn to continue to live your life. Learn to continue to kill them with success. Because like I said, most of them, they're never going to change. They're always going to be stuck in the mud, and eventually they're going to sink in that mud. It's going to become quicksand. Some of them will eventually see the light and begin to pursue their own dreams. And then they're going to see the world through a different lens. And they're going to be like, you know what? I was wrong about him. I understand why they did what they did. I understand why they are how they are. But nevertheless, don't worry about what they say. That's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have thick skin. You got to have tunnel vision. You have to focus on your goals, focus on the people that support you, and focus on your mission. Your mission is going to bless people who don't even know you. That's what you need to focus on. Don't focus on the people who are bitter, who are jealous, who are confused, who are miserable. Because they're irrelevant. They represent what you used to be. But you can never forget what you used to be for your sake, so you can continue to do what's right in this world. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. And all of the hardship, all of the pain, all of the tears. Never forget that. When you're sitting in your mansion, when you're driving your $300,000 car, when you're living a good life, never forget those things and continue to do what is right. That's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next week.